Keep watching if you want to see the terrifying moment when this plane crashes and find out why it does so. Hey guys, I'm Merryface and welcome back to Mayday Talk. We're going to start off with a bit of a bummer though for this returning episode. The accident in this video did result in a death and a serious injury, so let's have a moment of respectful silence. Let's get started. First off, it should be noted that there is a limited amount of information about the crash as it happened this year in Russia.
The crash.
The video starts off with a student and his flight instructor on final approach. The aircraft touches down hard and full power is applied for go-around. The aircraft immediately banks to the left and climbs, taking it over a forest. The aircraft then starts a steep turn with a high nose-up attitude. This results in the aircraft spinning and crashing into the trees. The flight instructor, Vladislav Vazenshkin, was killed in the crash, and his student, Roman Chernov, was seriously injured and taken into ICU.
A breakdown.
Let's look at every element that is relevant to the incident. First off, notice that the instructor applies full power prior to a hard and balanced touchdown. He also moves his right hand from his knee and out of sight, suggesting that he's taking control of the control stick. This probably means that this was not a touch and go, but a botched go-around. This hypothesis is further supported by the fact that they did not attempt to line up with the runway center axis, which brings us to the second element. The aircraft turns immediately to the left after it bounces off the runway, most likely due to a lack of corrective action against the P factor and sudden increase in power. The next important element to notice is that the student is still attempting to fly the aircraft with one hand on the throttle and one on the stick. There seems to be no communication between the pilots about who is actually flying the aircraft. The aircraft maintains a high pitch and seems to be flying on the back end of the power curve. The next part is the most mysterious part to me personally. The instructor proceeds to reduce power momentarily before increasing it again. The aircraft then enters a steep turn whilst keeping the high nose-up attitude. Finally, notice that neither of the aircraft's occupants seem to be aware of the potential danger until it's too late.
The cause of the accident.
We already talked about spins before, although very briefly and perhaps in an unhelpful way. The spin is what caused the accident, but what causes the spin in the first place? I was going to write an entire section on it, but then remembered that there are plenty of awesome resources online to help you understand spins in a much clearer and a better way that I could ever explain. So try watching John King's fantastic video explaining what stalls and spins are and how to recover from spins. There's a link in the description below, and there are of course other links for you to look at as well. The main thing that you should know, however, is that uncoordinated flight controls, a low airspeed, and a high angle of attack are the perfect ingredients for a spin, and all three of these are present in this accident.
The leading factors.
So what were the main factors that led the aircraft into a configuration ideal for a spin? The inexperience of the student should be taken into account as one of the links in the chain. The next link, though, would be the lack of communication between the instructor and student, which resulted in both of them attempting to fly the aircraft. The third leading factor is the inexplicable action on part of the flight instructor to reduce power momentarily and then to increase it before the turn.
The lessons learnt.
A proper brief describing task division and proper control transfer procedures is crucial in a flight where more than one pilot might be flying the aircraft. An instructor should be less passive and have a better situational awareness in critical moments of flight, such as takeoffs and landings. Full power should be maintained on takeoff until reaching a safe altitude, especially when there are obstacles beyond the threshold of the runway, unless the PO8 says so to do differently. Never begin a turn below 500 feet above ground level or any obstacles below you, as per the regulations.
Preventative actions that could have been taken.
There were many opportunities for preventing this crash from ever occurring, so let's look at them. If the instructor had maintained the centerline and accelerated first, the aircraft would not have been flirting with the back end of the drag curve for so long. Second, they could have maintained level wings after the botched go-around, reducing uncoordinated flight effects and accelerating the aircraft. Third, they could have lowered the pitch of the aircraft to allow it to increase its airspeed and to reduce its angle of attack. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to press that subscribe button. I'm Tarek Merryface. I'll see you guys next time, and happy flying.